old guy in Colorado. Doodah. Good morning, folks. Old guy is here, and as always, homages. To Mrs. Old Guy. So today I'm going to make some Italian grinders, but I'm a little slightly different than I guess your authentic Italian grinder, and it's got to start with the bread. Come on over here, Mrs. Old Guy. So I got this starter going last night, and it is just 2.5 cups of flour, a teaspoon of yeast, and a little bit of water. And let it proof for about 3 hours, and then into the fridge. Now I got to cut this up, right? And I'm going to mix this into the rest of the dough, so I get that kind of cut up. Right here I have another 2.5 cups of flour, and I'm going to sift that out really quick. You're going to need a really hot oven for this bread, 450. But it's a little too soon to turn it on quite yet. All right. So there's my sifted flour, and I'm just going to get it into my bowl here. I've also got a teaspoon of sugar, a tablespoon of sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt. There's another teaspoon of yeast and a tablespoon of olive oil. And there's my starter, and I got to grab a cup of hot water, so I'll be right back. Okay, so this next part might be a little bit tricky. I've got to incorporate these cold pieces. I'm just going to break them up again into some little pieces. This has got to mix in. It takes a second. This should make some really nice crispy crust. Bread, crusty crust. Alright. And when I get this part done, we'll see what the inside of that sandwich is going to look like. There's my dough peg. Alright. And I'm going to start with about 3/4 of that cup of water. And I'm just going to get this mix kind of slowly going. I don't want it to splash out. There we go. And it's going to take a few minutes for that to mix in. And when it does, I'm going to give it probably a 20-minute mix. And then I'll pull it out and we'll go from there. Okay? See that dough? It's nice, it's soft, slightly sticky to the touch. And I did kind of just knead this for just a second by hand. Now I'm just going to cover it, wait till it doubles, and then we'll move on to the next part. It's been a little over 2 hours. Look at that. Beautiful. I'm going to push it down a little bit, and we'll get a little bit of this out for a couple of sandwiches. The rest I'm going to freeze. So I'll be back in a minute. All right. So there's those 2 rolls. They're going to sit on that tray, and you're going to double in size. I'm going to give it about an hour. All right, while I'm waiting for those rolls, those bread loaves or whatever, to rise, I'm going to make the olive tapenade that I'm going to put on my sandwich. It's not a typical topping for an Italian grinder, but it's something that I like, and I'm going to put it on. This little guy, come on down here. So what's going in? I got black and green olive. I got a little bit of oregano and basil, some fresh garlic, a little tomato, and some red onion. And I'll show you what it looks like when I get it chopped up. All right, there we have it. And I did add, I don't know, half a teaspoon or so of a little balsamic vinegar. That is ready to go. I'm just going to let that chill for a while. And I'll start moving on to the next step of this here sandwich. Let's make a little balsamic dressing to go with that. So I got some balsamic here. And I'm going to add a quarter cup. Quarter cup's 4 tablespoons for those that don't know. Okay. I got just a pinch of sugar. It's not quite half a teaspoon. I got just a little bit of red onion, just a thin little slice. All right. I'm going to pulse that out real quick, and then I'm going to start adding the oil. So there's our 2 pieces of bread for our sandwich rolls. Mrs. Old Guy requested one just a little smaller, so I accommodated that. And we'll brush it with a little egg wash. This is 1 egg and a teaspoon of water. Give that a brush. We'll give it some snips. All right, then into a 450-degree oven. Whoops, not quite. Almost forgot a step. I got to get a pan with some water in there, so I'll be right back. Okay, I've got the water in the pan, in the oven. That steam is what's going to help create our nice crispy crust. So here we go. Just gonna set those in there. They're going to bake for about 15-20 minutes. Golden brown. We'll be back. Time is up, and it is ready to come out of the oven. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. I've got that nice cross pattern. Yeah, that's what I want. A nice crispy crust on the outside, nice soft bread on the inside. Okay, now I gotta let them cool. There's another one out there. All right. Fogged my glasses a little. So, just a couple of minutes and I'll pull that out and we'll finish building. All right, there we are. Cheese is melted. The bread's just slightly toasted. So, let's build them here. Some onion. Mrs. Old Guy is not at all a fan of olives, so she's going to not want any of this tapenade. I, on the other hand, will be putting a fair amount on. Okay. Also got some red bell pepper, roasted red bell pepper. Throw some of those on there. Does that look good?
Yep. Thank you.
Uh-huh. A little bit on mine. Okay, yeah, I got another little piece here. Let's put that on. Some tomato pieces, slices. Oh, almost forgot one thing.
Ooh.
Our balsamic vinaigrette to go on there. Me too. Okay. Balsamic vin. Not going to skimp on the vinaigrette. Alright. And I'm going to add a little bit more tomato onto mine. There we have it. Alright. I'm going to sit down at the table. I'm going to cut a sandwich and then we'll get to it. Look at that. Now, you can call this a hoagie. I guess you could call it a grinder. You could call it a sub, but subs generally have a soft bread. This is a real crispy, crunchy bread. Should we get a cross section of that? Yum. All right. No more making. Now eating. Wow. That is amazing. The bread has that really nice crispy crust that I wanted. The inside is super tender, has a lot of flavor. The meat just goes so well with the olive tapenade. That balsamic vinaigrette to give it a little bit of acidity and a little bit of tartness. The onions, give you that little bit of a bite. I'm telling you what. And then the red peppers in there to finish it off. This is one good sandwich. And I'm going to finish it. I appreciate everybody watching. Until next time, I'll see you then.